disgusting. How disgusting. What a
And
freedom. Freedom. Get out of my country. Get out of my country. Are you in the United States? Because if you are, get out. You hate freedom. You despise freedom, my friend. You. Let's say you're not transphobic. You still hate freedom. Off, dumb it. Ha, you dipshit. How does he actually, okay, is he actually homophobic? The person who linked this to me said, Remnant 7.
Just the other day, I got flat out insulted, attacked, and worst of all, slandered by a leftist streamer, Alec Gunter, who according to himself is just another leftist variety content creator. Now, I really don't mind insults. You won't last long on YouTube if you take them to heart. However, I will not abide by slander and horrific mischaracterization of me or my videos, especially on the levels that were done in this video about me. And for the sake of not stooping to his level, I will do my best to not personally attack him, but instead call out his behavior and his actions. First thing, I want to address the horrific mischaracterizations made against me.
Dude, why do you want to know so bad? You know, like, what am I to do with this information? Like, are we solving cancer? Like, are we, like, keeping kids from getting cleft palate or something? Like, what's really the end game here? Oh, it's to keep people from being gay. You know, like, it doesn't make any sense except they just hate gay people. That's it. That's all it is. They don't like gay people or trans people because they think they're...
It is actually insane to me that the first thing that would come to your mind is that the video in itself, or my own personal goal of the video, is to biologically prevent gay people from being born. And he also really tries to leave people walking away with the impression that I'm only interested in these things because of how much I hate gay people and I want to remove them. What the hell? And he constantly mentions how I do tons of research. Now, you wouldn't think that this is a bad thing, but it's something he builds up throughout the video. He says it himself multiple times. But the horrible thing is he tries to take this positive quality that I'm trying to be informed for the sake of my viewers. If I'm going to make a video on a subject, I really need to research these things to the best of my ability to minimize errors I make. And he tries to frame it as an obsession. He puts it even in the title, this guy is obsessed with gay people, and that it stems from my pure evil hatred for gay people. Like, holy shit, this is actually something really serious. He is really just flat out making up lies based on nothing. Take a look at this video footage.
Why do you give a Who cares? Dude, why do you want to know so bad? What, are you gonna date him? Why do you know this? My man has studied the gay inside and out. He's like an O'Hara library of like information on what it means to be gay and where it comes from. Oh my God, this guy's such a nerd. My man knows entirely too much about homosexuality in the animal kingdom, man. But at the same time, it's like, why do you care? Why do you care? Where are we going with this? What are we to draw from this? Why did you like spend hours upon hours, apparently, digging around for this info? What are you doing with it? The only reason we're asking this question specifically about being gay is because some of us hate gay people. Not me, but some of us do. Okay? That's the only reason you ask it about being gay. You're breaking it down to such an extent that it's unhealthy. Like, nobody should care this much. Okay? Nobody. Like, the only reason you would care this much is if you don't like gay people or you want to like cure gay people or something. Like, it's really weird.
This is extremely manipulative and lazy because at the end of the day, I don't believe he really knows much about these subjects. The reason why I say lazy is because I don't believe he has rebuttals against the things I say. He seems to be impressed by basic knowledge on these matters. I mean, anybody who actually takes the subject matter seriously should at least understand this viewpoint, even if they don't agree with it. But from what I can see, this is probably his first time being exposed to this information. And because he has no rebuttals against it, it's easy to take that strength, being I actually know what I'm talking about, and try and turn it into a vice, into something evil. I'm no longer informed. I'm obsessed and I hate gay people and I'm evil. That is what he's trying to do here. And it's horrible. It's absolutely disgusting. It's vile. Now, Alec, if you're watching this, if you're streaming this right now, please do not interrupt or speak over this segment, what I'm about to say, for just like a minute. It is important. You cannot get sidetracked. There are multiple times in the video you posted that you flat out just lost track of what I was trying to say.
Well, hold on. Let me replay that. Hold on. What did he say? I'm sorry. I'm missing a lot of this. Hold on. What did you just say?
So for this minute, just try, pay attention, don't get sidetracked, and don't distract your audience. Please. I absolutely do not hate gay people, or trans people, or furries at all. I don't hate them, otherwise I couldn't be nice to them, I couldn't be friends with them, I couldn't be supportive and try and help them. However, I am a Christian, which means I don't condone their lifestyles, but I don't hate them for it, and I'm not trying to control them. I'm not trying to force them into a specific lifestyle. Not at all. And the videos were not designed to be that way at all. And if anything, when it comes to learning about different groups, peoples, just nations in general, it allows me to garnish sympathy and empathy for them, regardless of who we're talking about. Though it does not mean, again, I support their lifestyles or their choices. In general, I try not to control people's lives. I find it personally very distasteful if you have a person in just any domain of life. They're trying to control you, tell you what to do. I'm not in favor of that. And if you actually care about the people in general, you're not going to do that to them either. If you actually care about the person, you establish a relationship, you actually listen to them, you want what is best for them, and you hear them out. And if they bring up this topic or they ask for my opinion, then I will tell them what I think. And I do so politely. And at the end of the day, I will do my best to help you, to do what is best in my opinion in any way I can. And again, I don't force it upon anyone. Just in general, I mean, go back and watch a couple of my videos, especially the one I made a while ago about intellectuals. That whole video summed up is, intellectuals don't practice what they preach. And if you actually want to help people, persuade them, change their minds, it should be reflected in your lifestyle rather than simply your words. And at the end of the day, when you lead a good lifestyle and people can actually see that things are changing in your life because of your actions, what you're doing, they naturally come up to you for your opinion, for your help. So no, of course not. I don't hate these people, and I'm not trying to force anything down them. That's why I said in the video that when it comes to things like even conversion therapy, no, of course not. I'm not in favor of forcing anyone to do it. And yeah, this leads into another horrific mischaracterization made by him.
Okay, why do you give a who cares? Why would you do this? Okay? Like, if somebody wants to do it, sure, for whatever reason, fine. But like, why force people into this? You still have not answered that question. Get out of my country. Get out of my country. Are you in the United States? Because if you are, get out. You hate freedom. You despise freedom, my friend. You.
Of course, this is the same guy who stomped on the American flag, saying that he stepped on a true American for you right there. But don't worry, I'm sure one of us is going to leave very soon, given the election. And it most likely isn't going to be me, my friend.
I would say update your passports, you know, the same things that other leftists have been saying for a while now.
But going back to what he said, this one is particularly annoying to me because I said it flat out in the video. Let's look at the video real quick. Now, don't take this out of context. I'm not saying we should force anyone to do this. I'm not in favor of forcing people to live out certain lifestyles. I think that people can change, yeah, but I'm not in favor of forcing people to change, and that's why I said it. If you just believed the things I said about myself, what I support and what I don't support, you would know that what you said is blatantly wrong. I can't tell if you just think I'm a horrible, evil, manipulative liar that is out just to deceive everybody like Satan himself, or if you just don't pay attention. I personally don't think that you're a horrible person and you're trying to mislead your entire audience against me. The more likely of the two, which happened over and over in the video, is I think you just weren't paying attention to the things I was saying. Now, don't take this out of context. I'm not saying,
but like, what positive effects? That's another, yeah, trust us on that.
We should force anyone to do this. But for those who, I think everybody can learn from this. That being, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. This means you should listen more and most definitely insult much less. But now we're going to get to the part of the video where I address his objections, and the 2 notable ones throughout the entire video. I know it's kind of sad. Throughout this 42-minute long video, he only said 2 notable things. Everything else was literally just insults and slander against me. But hey, I'm willing to admit when I make obvious hiccups. The study I mentioned at the end of the video, it was biased and it was untrustworthy. Though at the end of the day, I don't think it's that big of a deal if you actually paid attention to the things I said in the video. Again, I'm not in favor of forcing anyone to do this. And if you look at a lot of the studies talking about conversion therapy, even the one that Alec brought up in the video, conversion therapy or just therapy in general, it's not going to work if you force people to do it. Look at the study he brought up. It was a survey done of trans kids, ages 11 to 14, and it showed how harmful it was. It was actually really harmful. But the problem is, what 11 to 14-year-old kids are going to say, hey mom, hey dad, let's go to conversion therapy? And if you also ask me, It seems like there's a lot of problems in their family in general, so much that their kids ran away and increased the risk of certain behaviors. Though many interpretations of this data can be made on why kids 11 to 14, who also just so happen to be trans, would be so high when it comes to these certain behaviors. I think there's a lot to be said, but not things I can say on YouTube. However, though as stated previously, the study wouldn't go against the things I said because it's forced. Real quick, let's pause for a second. Let's just look at therapy and if you know anything about therapy. When it comes to therapy, you can't really help people or change people that don't want to be changed. And in fact, it only increases the likelihood of harm or negative effects. Why do you think I said I'm not in favor of forcing people to do these things? I'm not in favor of anyone being forced to go to any sort of therapy at all. I hope Alec at least hears me this time instead of just over-talking my points, or just ignoring the things I say.
Like, this guy just made up. He just made up the fact that like, the fake fact that, like, gay people want to convert to being straight. That's not a thing.
I never quote-unquote said, gay people want to change. Why do you think if we forced all gay people, for example, to go to conversion therapy, the amount of people that would actually change would be incredibly low? Why? Well, you said it yourself. They generally don't want to change. I never said that gay people want to change. But there are obviously people. I've met these people, I've talked to these people that would like to change. And it's not because their family or the people around them are pressuring them into it. They don't believe that it's pleasing to God, so they want to change it. Just like there are other desires pretty much everybody has that are not healthy. Like, I'm a guy who wants to have sex with a lot of women. Does that make it good? Absolutely not. It doesn't mean that I should or I want to entertain that lifestyle. The purpose of the video wasn't to say, hey, look at you, you freak. Here's why you are the way you are, and here's why you should change. No, this is just another blatant mischaracterization of my words or what I meant. And it's really annoying because with this one, you could have just paid more attention and you would have seen that what you were saying was blatantly false. And another thing that's worth diving into is that he called well agreed upon science that hardly nobody disputes as pseudoscience. He obviously isn't well read up on these things.
If you want, okay, so if you're like a first time, like, I'm just curious Andy, right? How much testosterone a fetus has? Okay, that's fine. I mean, that's reasonable to me, right? I just want to know for science's sake. Who knows? Maybe all fetuses have like 10,000 testosterone prenatal, right?
I mean, this has to be the funniest clip in the entire video. When you really understand the science behind it, I cannot stop laughing whenever I see this. He says 10,000 testosterone. He's obviously throwing around numbers he has no understanding of. To give you an idea, women have maybe around 50 testosterone, maybe 70. I, as a guy, I have 688 last time I got tested. But 10,000 testosterone, that's a fucking bodybuilder right there. 10,000 testosterone is literally a competitive bodybuilder on high amounts of steroids. Also, babies don't even use deciliters. They use milliliters. A baby at 10,000 fucking testosterone is going to explode inside of the womb. What types of babies is he looking at? I can't get my mind off this. This is no longer an attack, someone trying to destroy my character. It's just comedy at this point. Not only does he not understand how gay people work, he just doesn't understand how anything works.
Why do you know this? My man has studied the gay inside and out.
Later in the
He
video.
is
Now, I know
lost
this
in that
video is to explain
pseudoscience
things
sauce.
and to help answer. Many studies find that it is due to higher levels of testosterone exposure in the womb. From what I've seen, the issue we have.
Holy shit. My dude has done his research. Holy shit. How does he actually, okay, is he actually homophobic? Oh my God, this guy's such a nerd.
From my personal research.
Okay. Granted, that's pretty interesting. If true, big if true.
What do you mean if true? Do you know if it's true or not? Is this your first time hearing these things? You're critiquing me on my video the things I say, despite not knowing anything about these things. I guess when you debate these things, you don't really actually have to understand them. But if you're going to dispute the things I say when it comes to the science, when it comes to what we know, I don't mind that, but you better at least know what you're talking about. And it seems that you have a following that really agrees with the things you say. So this is pretty damaging if you're going to say that certain things are not true, or if they're pseudoscience, then at least know what you're talking about, rather than simply briefly mentioning epigenetics.
The environment in which you grow up and spend your time has an enormous impact on how you act and what you, and even what you look like, really, and how your body functions. Like, it has an impact on all of that. It's called epigenetics. There's an entire field of study around it. Epigenetics, it's beautiful, okay? I find it incredibly interesting personally. But like, these dumb just think that like, oh, you're just like born with certain juices in your body and then that's it.
1 minute later.
Is homosexuality entirely biological? I would argue it is not. Our biology plays a large role, but it is not the only thing.
Hold on, what did he say?
He briefly mentions epigenetics and then acts as if he achieved anything or really knows anything about homosexuality. If you did, you would have mentioned it in the video, and you would have gone into more detail. And thirdly, I looked into this briefly myself, and guess what I found? I didn't really find much of anything. The problem is, when you look into epigenetics relating to homosexuality, not a lot of information covers it. And the majority of articles, for example, that talk about the link between homosexuality in epigenetics says, epigenetics is a new way of looking at these things, and it might explain why people are gay one day. That's generally how the articles go. And what's funny is when you actually find an article that talks about the link between epigenetics and homosexuality, what we know, it just circles back around to prenatal testosterone exposure in the womb. It talks about how hormones can be an environmental factor inside of the womb that can affect your genes and causes you to become gay. Gee whiz, where did we learn that from? Oh wait, we did in my video already. We achieved nothing by this. You disputed the things I said with epigenetics, despite not knowing anything about epigenetics and its link to homosexuality. Maybe you know something about epigenetics, but you certainly don't know anything about it concerning homosexuality. That much is made clear in your video. So you shouldn't be disputing me with the very material that supports what I'm saying. If you actually understood the things you were talking about, had an argument to be made against me, you wouldn't be calling me a nerd or acting shocked with any of the information I say in the video. Because if you watched literally any other YouTube video on the matter when it comes to homosexuality, commonly made by people who are gay themselves, they say pretty much the exact same things as I do. And when it comes to the science, if you're afraid of it being some sort of Christian propaganda, just know that these sources, whether that be videos, whether that be articles, all the rest, it's generally left-wing because people who are on the left are the only people who really look into these things or try to understand them. I also find that to be a problem with my own side. I'm right-wing, so I think it's kind of important for just people in general, especially on my own side, to understand, hey, why are people gay? Wait a minute, is that gay person obsessed with homosexuality? Does he hate gay people? What the hell is wrong with him? What a fucking nerd. They're all leftists too. I can't believe there's all these gay leftist people who are so extremely homophobic for asking the gay question, why gay people exist. What the hell? What about this guy who made a video on why people are gay? I don't know, he doesn't say he's gay, but he's got a really weird mustache. He's gotta be gay. I tell you, this is a real problem with our society today, with all this internalized homophobia, all these people who are gay making videos on why people are homosexuals. Internalized homophobia is at an all-time high. Absolutely nuts to me. I can't comprehend why anybody would want to know these things. I mean, if I was gay, I certainly wouldn't give a shit on why I was gay. I would just be loud and proud. There is also one last thing I'd like to mention. There might be some people watching this video and just think, oh, this is Christian propaganda because I'm a Christian. But I'd like to say no. And I don't really bring religion into my videos hardly at all. I think I've mentioned it in like 2 videos in total. I have my own opinion. And generally, at the end of the day, I'm a biased individual too, like anybody else. I don't deny that. But the way I try to mitigate it is, at the beginning of the videos, I cover as much information I found as possible. I just try to report on it the best I can. And then at the end of the video, I give my opinion, my conclusion that I've come to. But I say, hey, this is my opinion. Feel free to agree or disagree. I don't mind. And also do your homework. research these things yourself. I constantly say that. One of the things I hope to facilitate in my audience is to really get them interested in these things, to research these things, and to learn. And they're not going to learn if they just stop with my video. Certainly that's not the case. But here's the thing, he actually reached out to me on Discord. So when I read that he wanted to talk to me on his live stream and clear things up, and I thought, might as well, there's no harm from that. Though after I agreed, I reread over the things and I found it kind of odd. I have some questions I'd love to ask you. I don't want to feel like your videos are being misrepresented or misconstrued by me. There are a couple of things that really rub me the wrong way. One being, you obviously misrepresented me. There's no possible way anybody just watching the video would walk away the impression that I hate gay people and I want to prevent them from existing. You obviously misrepresented me there. There is nothing you could latch onto unless you made things up. There's nothing you could actually look at. And secondly, he's like, I have some questions I'd love to ask you. It's like, okay, wait, is this going to be that I go on his stream? Because I've seen this happen. I love debates personally. I'm a very opinionated person. I love listening to debates. But I've seen that there are streamers who are bigger. They have a person on, whether that be a guest, whether that be an individual YouTuber, or whether that be just a viewer. People like, for example, Hunter Avalone, they really like to throw their weight around, especially when they are the person who's live, because they can do that. And he phrased it rather than simply talk things out, hear your viewpoint. He says, I have some questions to ask you. It's like, you're going to just frame this as a flat-out interrogation rather than actually have a real conversation with me? That really rubbed me the wrong way. And on top of that, initially after I said yes, but I have some conditions, he said sure. And then I asked that we would simply not insult each other. I think that's fair, right? And he said yes to the initial, I have conditions, but he never clarified or said, yes, I agree, we won't insult each other. He never said that. So it really rubbed me the wrong way, because if I were to say something he disagreed with, it would simply be I have a certain opinion, and then he would call me homophobic, transphobic, hateful, evil. Now for Alec, afterward I quickly declined, and I was blunt. I pretty much said the exact same things I said here. And Alec in the DMs, he was nice. We didn't really have any beef in the DMs or anything like that. And I try heavily just with everybody, not to be two-faced. If I say something, I actually mean it. And I'm going to say that thing behind your back, and I'm going to say it to your face. And look, I could easily be getting things wrong here. If anyone knows me, they know I can be kind of a paranoid person at times. I'm distrustful if you give me reason to be. People who actually want to understand the other person generally give them the benefit of the doubt. None of that was done in the video whatsoever. Instead of it just being another thing that I actually personally find very interesting. Like, I have tons of questions when it comes to sexuality. I find it extremely fascinating. These things go incredibly deep. I mean, it's not even just so much, why are you gay or why are you straight? It's also like, hey, let's ask another fun, interesting question. Why do you like big boobs or why do you like small boobs? Why do you prefer butts over boobs, for example? It's an incredibly complex and fascinating thing, in my opinion. You also don't have to think something is right or wrong to find it fascinating. I personally found it very fascinating. Do I condone it? Do I think it's good? No. Do I hate these people? Is the purpose of my video some sort of nefarious, evil Christian propaganda to make people straight? No. I just also find it very interesting. And if you look at all the comments, for example, especially the ones that were angry at me, you'll find something interesting. Who are these people who are commenting? What's going on here? Oh, wait! Turns out even gay people find it interesting and want to understand these things. I don't blame them. So you can see that obviously the accusations made against me that I'm just a person who hates gay people, it is incredibly backwards and unintuitive. The only reason why he came with this mentality is because he was told by a viewer that I hate gay people.
My dude has done his research. Holy shit. How does he actually... Okay, is he actually homophobic? The person who linked this to me said, Remnant 7 said he has to be. He has to be. Wait, yo, it's real. It's real. I'm pogging, dude.
He's being blinded by his ideology. It's insane. And Alec, if you're watching this video, or just people in general, because I don't even know if Alec's gonna watch this video, I believe that if you're a streamer, if you're a person who makes YouTube videos, you have a responsibility, especially if you're going to be in politics and news, or any of those things, or psychology. You have a responsibility to really know what you're talking about. If I react to a video talking about why people are gay, and I say it's wrong, I sure as hell best know what the answer is. I should know why people are actually gay rather than simply disagreeing with it because it doesn't sound right to me, which he obviously didn't in this video. He just said a lot of baseline information about epigenetics, and then he called it a day without actually going into detail about it. You're not establishing anything by doing that. And you should also watch these videos in advance before you criticize, attack, and slander people. You have a responsibility for the things you say, the videos you make. You need to take responsibility. And it's dangerous because guess what? A lot of the people who watched that video, they clearly did not watch it through. They just watch you say, this guy hates gay people, he's homophobic, he spreads pseudoscience. Then they call it a day, and now they see me that way when it's obviously not the case. I mean, let's look at the comments, for example. Let's read through a couple of these. I'm a gay bottom. I'd wager I have very little testosterone. My ring finger is longer than my index. Pseudoscience go brr. This comment is kind of nuts to me because it got so many likes. Yet, if the people who liked this comment and the person who actually made the comment paid attention to anything I said, they would know that what this guy is saying proves literally what I'm saying to be true. But when you're an adult, it becomes much more tricky and there is no direct way of measuring the testosterone. Your current levels are not going to reflect it, what they were in the womb. Studies have shown having a long ring finger to an index finger is heavily correlated to testosterone exposure while you're in the womb. This is why women typically have shorter.
Why do you know this?
Like what he says literally proves what I said in my video to be true. But they don't even realize that because Alec keeps interrupting the video at vital segments. Like this is so damaging to the things I say that the people watching your reaction video can't even digest the information because you keep interrupting them with bits that aren't even funny. Like what's the joke behind this? You aren't smart enough to understand the things I'm saying or lack the ability to pay attention? What is the joke behind this, Alec? Tell me, where's the funny here? Like, here's the difference between our videos in terms of food. Your videos are lighthearted, they're not meant to be taken seriously, you're categorized under entertainment for a reason. So it's equivalent to a hot dog. It's just something, hey, I watch it, I eat it, I don't really pay attention too much, it's fun. Mine is a steak though. You have to actually sit down, cut it, and digest what I'm saying to understand it. People can miss half of the things you're going to say, and it's not going to drastically affect the video. But you actually have to concentrate on what I say, otherwise you're going to get a bit lost. Just like with all these people who liked this comment without knowing it actually supports the things I said. It hits extra hard to hear mutilation as an argument while I'm lying in bed recovering from top surgery right now. I've never been happier in my entire life when I see myself in a mirror now, and these f***s will never accept that. You don't need me to accept that. I never said you do, and I never pretended as if you did. I have no authority over you. I don't think that lifestyle will make you happy at the end of the day, though I would totally understand why you would believe it would right now. And I don't deny the data, which shows that it really does make people happy when they're going through it. The idea that high-pitched voices are linked to homosexuality was debunked in the 1980s. There are more straight men with high-pitched voices than there are gay men with high-pitched voices. Oh boy, don't tell this guy that there are more studies done after the 1980s. He seems to be having an issue. I don't know. Maybe Alec Gunter can help us with this one.
Dude, who pulled this man out of the 1987?
Yeah, that's it. Thanks, Alec. I couldn't have worded better myself. The problem is he is stuck in the past and there have been a lot more studies done on this. And actually, just 2 weeks ago, ASAP Science, which has gay men in it, discuss why gay men have stereotypically higher pitched voices and sound more feminine, and it is observed cross-culturally. They have also the links in their video, and it's a really good video. I highly recommend it. Anytime people argue that someone's environment determines their sexuality/gender identity, it screams that they aren't entirely straight or cis, but they're too scared to admit it. I'm not gay/trans, but society made me have those thoughts.
Okay, listen, you're not just born gay, okay? I think anybody with like a basic understanding of epigenetics and environmental influence can understand that.
Holy shit, Alec, are you hiding something from us? Your own viewers calling you out right there. It's just so stupid because even Alex says this. Also, the whole idea that because you're interested in these things, it makes you gay. It's an absurd argument. If I'm fascinated and I love cats, for example, does that make me a zoophile or myself a cat? Absolutely not. And other comments brought up the armored skeptic aspect, the look I have. Now that is honestly an extremely Tragic coincidence. I am not even joking. So the first time I found this out was actually from a comment on my communist video. He said I copied the Armored Skeptic. I looked at the video and it's like, holy shit, that is literally me. But it's so sad because I'm gonna be honest, because in terms of the videos and how I make them, I really learn from other people I watch. For example, the Tail Foundry. For people who watched my older videos, I tried to have these little characters. They move around and they convey my points. I blatantly stole that from the Tail Foundry, yet I'm an individual. I'm one man who only works on these things in his evenings. I have very limited time to make these videos. So I tried to steal and create a Walmart version of the Tail Foundry in terms of the videos I make. And as time went on, I changed my video style. I kind of abandoned the whole concept of it entirely. But it was really tragic for me to find this out because the one thing I tried to be the most original with was the character design. I really tried to be original with it. And it turns out I flat out replicated an existing YouTuber. And not just an existing YouTuber's design, but in the political niche. If I could go back in time, I would have scrapped this entire design as is. I had no idea at the time who that was or that he even existed. I think he's like way before my time even. I probably was like 14 years old when he was making YouTube videos or something. I don't know, maybe even 10. Those are some like really old political streamers. So yeah, that's the story behind the Armored Skeptic look. Yeah, I don't deny the connection at all. It's just a tragic one at that. And if I hit like 10,000 subscribers or sometime in the future I have more time, I'm probably going to change the design. I'm going to keep my helmet, but I'm probably going to put on like a tan long coat or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. But going back to Alec, if you're going to continue making videos, I would strongly suggest that you watch the people's videos in advance. Because guess what? I understand why you probably did the things you did. If you're a streamer and you just blatantly watch the entire video, start to finish, and you don't add things, that makes you liable for being copyright striked. Which is why I would suggest in your situation, it would be really wise of you to either not really draw any conclusions, not to insult people, really to try and understand and hear them out first, or to watch their video in advance. You gotta be generous with your interpretation of what they're trying to say, what they mean behind the things they're saying, or just watch it beforehand. And if that's too much for you, you probably shouldn't be in the political and news niche. It'd probably be better for you to just stick to playing video games or something, or reacting to TikTok memes. I'm serious here, because you are responsible for your actions and what happens as a result of them. And that's all for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Something also I want to mention on here is I'm open to video editing work. If you enjoy the videos and what I make, feel free to hit me up on Twitter. Also, feel free to just give me a follow on there. That would mean so much. It's where I try and reach out to people for video editing work. Also, if you enjoyed this video and you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. It would really help me out. Anyways, take care.